Guys, how are you? So I hope you guys had a good week and a good Halloween. This week I wanted us to do a maple leaf drawing in a maple tree. It still doesn't quite look like fall out here, but I was driving to work this week and it was one of those days where it was kind of rainy, or at least very cloudy in the morning, and the sun was rising, and there just happened to be a sugar maple tree that was bright red and orange, and the sun was shining on it, and it was so pretty, with these dark blue clouds in the background, because it was still kind of morning and it was kind of half cloudy, half sunny. Anyway, it kind of inspired a little drawing, and I thought I would share that with you guys. So we're going to do a maple leaf, and then kind of the outline of a maple tree in the background and some clouds. And so for this assignment, you're going to need your pencil and eraser, Sharpie or Micron pen, and your watercolors. If you want, you could also use chalk pastel for the clouds in the background for the sky, but that's up to you. I'm going to show you how to do it with watercolor and also with chalk pastel, so I'll let you decide which one you want to do, okay? So go get your supplies. I hope that you guys have fun with this one, and I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Okay, thanks. So we are going to start our drawing today with our sugar maple leaf, okay? And if this is our page, we want to have our leaf kind of over in this area. I'm not going to have us draw guidelines today, but just kind of in this area. And on mine, I wanted it to be kind of slanted, kind of like at an angle, kind of like that on my page. So I think we're going to actually start with that line. That's kind of the middle of our leaf. And we're just going to draw it kind of at an angle like that on our page. Okay. And now how we're going to draw this leaf is that we're going to actually start out with the stems and the veins, of the leaf, and then we're going to go around and do the edges. So it's not going to quite look like a leaf at first, but it'll get there, okay? So we're going to have our straight line here, and now we're going to do sort of a V at the very bottom, and these lines are going to be just a little bit shorter than our first one, but they're still going to be pretty long, kind of like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have two more sets of V's, but they're just going to be a little bit shorter and a little bit higher up. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think about halfway up our line here, we'll just have another little set of lines, kind of like that. Okay, I think that the tips of the line should kind of line up so that we kind of have a triangle shape here. So if you imagined, in fact, you could draw this if you wanted to. You could real lightly draw a line that connects this line to the tip of this line down here, so that we make sure that these lines angle upright. And same thing over here. We're going to do another little set right here. Right there. And right there. Okay. Now, after we have those in place, I'm going to do a set of V's right here. Okay, now these don't quite touch this line, and that's okay. It's going to go there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Like that. And on these, our bottom ones, I'm going to do 3 different sets of V's. So let's see. I'm going to do one about right here, then one a little bit bigger, about right here, and then one more. I'm going to make bigger on this side, but this time I'm going to make it shorter on this side. So it's not quite an even V. On the other ones, they were all the same length on both sides. I want this one here to be a little bit longer on that side. Okay, and then we're going to come over here and do the same thing. So right there, about right there, and make that one a little bit longer and that one a little bit shorter. Okay, and for right now, I think we're just going to leave that. If you did draw these lines in, this would be a good time to erase those. Okay, and now we're going to draw the outline of our leaf. So we're going to start up here at this tip. Okay, and we're just going to do the left side first, and then we'll do the right side. So we're going to start right up here, and we're going to do a curved line. It's going to swoop down and then go to this point, like that. Okay, and then our next one is going to, it's going to swoop down. I'm going to show you first. I'm going to start here. It's going to swoop down and then go to here. But our bottom point is going to be right here. So we're going to kind of swoop like that. And then come up like that. Okay. Now this one, we're going to swoop a little bit different as well. So we're going to start at our tip. We're going to come down, we're going to touch this line. And then we're going to go down to right here and up to here. So we're going to start here. We're going to go down to this line and up to this line. Then we're just going to do a simple little curved line there and a curved line from here to the tip of our leaf, right there. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So we'll take that and go out like that. We'll put a curved line in right here. And let's see. Okay, you know what? We're going to stop right there. So we have a whole nother section that I need to do down here. And that's Mr. Ron, if you hear my kitty in the background. I think he wants to play. Okay, so now we're going to do the mirror image. So we're going to start up here. We're going to swoop down and out to this point. And then we're going to swoop. Remember, this one's a little bit weird. We're going to come down to here and then up to here. And on this one, we're going to start here. We're going to swoop really down low like that and then up to here. So we're going to touch the tip of this one. We're going to bend down to this point right here. And then stop right here where this line is. Okay. And then we'll do a little curved line there. And then another one that goes up to this point. And then we'll go from this point down to this point. And we'll do one more curved line right there. Okay, so it's a kind of a weird looking shape at the moment, but it'll get there. And we have one last little set of things that we need to do, but I didn't do it earlier just because I thought it was too complicated. But now we're going to start down here at this point again, and we're going to make another line that goes kind of down like that. And then another one on this side. It's going to go kind of down. Okay. Oh, poor Mr. Ron. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this is we're going to start here. We're going to swoop down and touch this line, and then we're going to come back up to this point. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to start here. We're going to swoop down to this point, and then up to here. Okay, and then we're just going to have a simple line, connect that to here, and the same on this side. Okay, that is the basic structure of our leaf, of our sugar maple. And then we're going to have a stem that comes down here. Now on mine, I kind of like to draw out these points a little bit more, just to make them a little bit more sharp or pointy. Now the only ones that I'm going to do are this first one here, this one here, and then this top point. I'm not going to worry so much about this one here, but this one here, I like to kind of pull it out a little bit. Same with that, and with that, and with that. But the other thing that I do want to do is just add some more little lines in here. Just sort of like some more V's, really. More little veins that go through our leaf, okay? Maybe one that goes to there and to here. I did just enough to kind of get us started on the shape of our leaf. But really there's all kinds of little veins that go through our leaf and, you know, carry its nutrients to and from the tree. Something like that. Okay, so that's basically our leaf. And then what we're going to do up here is we're just going to do just sort of a curvy outline of a tree, like the canopy of a tree. Okay, and we're not going to get really detailed on that. We're basically going to leave it just like that, to be honest. Now I do want to put like some indications of tree branches or a tree trunk. So maybe I'll put some little lines here and there. You know, some can be straight, some can be curvy. I'm not going to make it straight all the way through though, because I want, you know, I want the leaves to stand out at this point more than our branches. Okay, or just something like that. Nothing too significant. I did want to have a couple little twigs coming off of here though, above our canopy, because often a tree will lose the leaves at the very top of the tree first. And so you'll see a couple of these like little sticks hanging out. Maybe I'll put like 3 little ones. They don't have to be big, but just an indication that there's a little branch there. Okay, so this is really our drawing, guys. At this point, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to turn the camera off so that you guys can work independently on this part. But what I want you to do is get your Sharpie or your micron pen and go over everything that we just did in pencil, okay? And these lines, you know, they're very thick right now, mostly so that you guys could see them. But they don't need to be thick, okay? So just go over everything that we did with a nice solid line, and even these curvy little lines. But again, don't make them thick, just you know, just an indication is all that I really want. And then when we're done with that, we're going to go in and do some watercolor, okay? So go get your micron pens and also get your watercolors and get all that stuff out. And I will put up a picture of what it looks like inked in, and you guys can pause it on that while you work, okay? Thanks. Okay guys, so I have my my drawing all inked in now, and I'm going to start to paint my trees in, okay? So I'm going to take just some water, and I'm actually not going to go over the entire tree, but I'm going to get most of it, okay? And my reason for not doing the entire tree is that there are going to be spaces, you know, this tree is losing its leaves, and so there are going to be places where you're going to be able to see through it and just see plain blue sky, okay? Especially I think more towards the top, but really through the whole thing. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to put water on most of it, but I'm going to make sure that I leave some spaces, okay? And I'm also going to be very careful not to touch my my leaf that I have over here, because I want to do that separate. Okay, so once I have my tree watered in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some nice red. And I'm just going to sort of start putting it down where I had my water. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see where your water is, but if you move your head around so that you can see the light reflecting on it, that's sometimes helpful. Okay, so I'm just going to throw little bits of red out there. You know, maybe that's all that I want to do on the red for right now. And I want to do a little bit of this orangey, it's a light orangey yellow color. I'm going to put some of that up here near the top. And we can let that mix in with our red. That's what's fun about this, is having all the colors blend. As a matter of fact, you can put it right over top of the red in some places if you want. Maybe I want this to just go right up to this leaf here. And kind of fade into the red. I'll put a few little spots of it around. Okay, and now I actually want to do a reddish purple for some of the more like shadowy areas. It's going to be more towards the inside of our tree. So some of these spots down here. And remember that we can put that over top of our red too. I just still want to be careful to make sure that I save some spots for the blue. I'm going to take a little bit of orange. Just put little bits in here and there. And pretty soon I'm actually going to stop working on the tree because it's really wet and I just kind of want it to do its thing. You know, blend a little bit, dry a little bit. You know, make sure that your watercolor is wet, guys. If it gets too dry, make sure that you add some water in there. And if you want your colors to blend a little bit more than they are, you can always go back in and put just some regular water over top of what you already have. Okay? But don't overwork it, you know, let it do its thing, let it dry, and then we can always come back and revisit it, okay? Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to go into my leaf. And I think I'm going to pick this nice, just solid orange for my leaf. And I'm not going to water it beforehand. I'm just going to paint it in. And just be real careful not to go outside of the lines. And after I get this orange on, I will probably add a little bit, you know, more red or some, you know, some other colors. But for right now, because we have so much contrast in our tree, I just want to keep it kind of simple. And as you guys are working on this also, especially this part here, since this is pretty, this part here is pretty simple, just going in. The hardest part actually is making sure that you don't touch those other colors from the tree. Like right in this area here, I want you to go real slow and be real careful, because as soon as you accidentally touch those colors, this pool of water here will just shoot on over, and I don't really want that right now. So that's the biggest thing that you need to focus on right now. But in the back of your mind, I want you to be thinking about how you want to do your sky. Okay, I'm actually still contemplating that myself. I could do watercolor, but I also know that chalk pastels work really well to make clouds. And I haven't quite decided if I want this to be a sunny day or a cloudy day. This scene actually was kind of inspired by something that I saw on my way to work, and it was a cloudy day. So the sky was really kind of dark, to be honest, and it was early in the morning. So it was still kind of like sunrise, kind of. And the sky was really dark, this pretty like dark blue, purple, gray kind of color. But the sun was still kind of peeking through, and it was just hitting the tops of the trees. And so the trees were glowing this beautiful red, orange, you know, fiery color. And it was set against this dark blue sky, dark blue-gray sky with lots of clouds in it. And it was so pretty. So I might try to recreate that. But also, you know, just a beautiful blue sky on an autumn day is gorgeous as well. So think about what you want your sky to look like. What kind of mood are you trying to set with your colors? And really in your media that you're going to use, okay? So be thinking about that, because you're going to have some options there. Okay. Now I'm going to get this orangey red, really wet. And I am going to come in to parts of this, not the whole thing, but just parts of it. And just try to make it a little bit more vibrant. Vibrant means just kind of bright. And I might even do a tiny bit of red. Especially like around the edges. I don't know if you guys have learned the difference between the different kinds of maple trees, but this in particular is a sugar maple. There's also a red maple that gets very, very red. The sugar maples tend to be very vibrant, but they're a little bit more orangey, but it's a bright, bright orange. So I don't really want this to be red, but just sort of a reddish orange. See, there's also silver maples that have pale yellow leaves. Norway maples have kind of dark purple leaves. I actually have one of those in my yard. But to me, the sugar maples are they're my personal fall favorites. Just because they glow. They're just so pretty. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in here, just in a few spots. Maybe down towards the bottom a little bit more. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with that, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my tree now. And if I have pools of water and paint sitting around, I'm going to just spread that out a little bit so that it dries a little faster. Okay, and I'm going to go over it just a smidge more, just to bring out some of this vibrancy. I think that watercolors tend to dull a little bit, depending on what type of paper you're using. The colors kind of get absorbed into the paper. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to go back in and do like another coat. Okay. And I also want to add, I think, a darker, kind of a bluish purple. Because even though I do like this purple, it doesn't quite give me the shadow color that I'm looking for. I'm kind of going for more of a burgundy, actually. I'm just about done playing, but I still want to kind of add just a tiny bit more. I don't really want to dull it down too much. This is kind of a dark blue, blue-black color. I think just in a couple spots, like for shadow. I might want to add some of this, but I definitely don't want to overdo it. Okay, now this is where I'm going to let you guys decide what you want to do with your sky. If you want to do your sky with watercolor, I would probably suggest watering, just wetting your paper first, sort of like we did with our tree, and then put, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of half and half, just so I can show you. Like, I would wet it, but be careful not to touch any of the other watercolor that we have, okay? And then after you wet it, you can take whatever color you want. So I'll use this blue just for right now. Okay. And then you can kind of just add it in. Okay. And you just go down your page doing that. And if you do this, I would try to add different shades of blue. Have it darker towards the top and have it maybe get lighter down towards the bottom. I'm actually not going to do that for the whole thing though, because I really want to do the chalk pastel. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do this first and then I'll do the chalk pastel over it. You don't have to do this at all. I'm just doing it to show you the two different techniques. I can add in a little bit of this blue here. Generally speaking, I want my strokes in my sky to be horizontal, so left and right. When you're first putting the paint on, you can spread it however you want, but then go back in and make sure that your final strokes are horizontal. Okay, so something like that. And then I would also go in very, very lightly. Maybe like dab a little bit of the paint off of your brush. And just put the tiniest little bit of blue in here. Trying, if you can, not to touch the, ooh, see, that's way too bright. Okay, so I'm going to take just a clean, wet brush now and go over that. And something else I can do is I can take a paper towel, or if you don't have one near you, just use your finger and blot some of that extra up. Okay, so that is my blue sky with my my watercolor. Now I'm going to let this dry for just a few minutes, and then I'm also going to do a chalk pastel version to show you guys, okay? So, and actually, if I were to do just the watercolor, I actually would add some more dark up here. I would add some more darker blue, or maybe even a little bit of very light gray, like blue gray, to kind of give that top part of the sky a little bit more color, okay? So I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to take a picture and I can post it. And then when this dries, I'm going to just go over it with chalk pastel in case you wanted to do chalk pastel. So if you want to do that, stick around for a minute. And if not, you know, go ahead and you can finish here. I'd love to see your work though. So please send me some pictures. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this assignment, okay? But do stick around if you want the chalk pastel, okay? Okay, guys, so if you're going to do the pastels, I'm going to have a piece of tissue, and I recommend that you have a tissue or a napkin or something like that. And I'm going to take, you know, I have a couple different blues. I have a light blue, a medium blue, and a dark blue. I also have sort of a pinky kind of a color because this was sunrise and a few of the clouds had a little bit of that in it. I'm going to start with my medium pastel, and I'm just going to use it on its side. Now, I was just taking a look at the clouds, and they all sort of seemed to almost radiate, like in an angle, kind of from the center of my drawing. I'm going to just real lightly just put down some color, and I'm just using a circular motion. I'm not covering every little spot. Okay, something basically like that. I'm going to take my lighter color and do the same thing. Again, just in a few spots, and to be honest, I think I'm going to use less of this than I did the other, because I really don't want to cover up the whole sky. But now we do also have a few places where it was a little bit darker. Where it was cloudy. It had rained that morning. We've actually had quite a bit of rain just recently. And so this was one of those days where the clouds were sort of starting to break up a little bit. Maybe something just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put in my little bit of pink. It's down here. It wasn't much. And it was closer down towards the bottom, although I might put just a smidge in up here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tissue and I'm going to very lightly just kind of dab it in a circular motion. I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it, but I definitely want to do a circular motion. So I'm kind of like going down and then picking up again. So down, up, in a circular motion. Okay, now where I have these darker colors, I might want to go in and kind of try to smooth them out a little bit more, but that's really up to personal preference. Another thing that I might do is maybe get some more of the lighter and go over some of that dark so that it blends together. If I don't want like those little kind of like spots, if you will, showing. So I could do that. And try to blend that in. Okay, and at this point, hoping that your leaf is dry, just kind of play around with it. You could even lift off some of this color. I might even want to go in and add a little bit more white in some places. Let me grab my white out real quick. Because there's definitely white in the sky as well. There's kind of like a whole, it was a transition, so we had some dark clouds, some light clouds, some pink clouds because the sun was shining. So really, I think the more different colors that you throw in and just sort of try to blend, I think the better it would look. And if you didn't do any watercolor at all, what I would suggest that you do is, now that I have some of this dust on my my tissue, you can go in and put little bits of this in your tree. Be careful, I've got mine is still a little bit wet because I did both. I did the watercolor and the chalk pastel for you guys. So what's happening is I have a couple spots where the chalk is getting on my wet paint, and so it's really sticking. But if you are doing the chalk pastel and you haven't done the watercolor, then it should be fine. Okay, but I think I'm going to call that a day. So I hope that you guys had fun with this assignment. I just love this time of the year. And like I said, the sugar maples are my absolute favorite. So I just thought it would be fun to do a simple little assignment on sugar maples. So I'm excited to see what you guys came up with. And I hope you guys all have a great week. And I'll see you next time, okay? All right, take care. Bye.